Come with me to the first German-Korean aesthetic facial meeting, which was just held in Munich, Germany. So my friend, Dr. Caroline Kim, organized the first German-Korean aesthetic facial meeting from February 22nd and 23rd, Saturday and Sunday. And I was honored to be one of the speakers and attendees. Dr. Caroline Kim is a friend of mine. She is a German plastic surgeon in Munich. Technically, she's half Korean, so her father is actually Korean, which is why she appreciates Korean skincare, Korean beauty, and Korean aesthetics. So this meeting was a brainstorm idea of Dr. Kim's because she's always respected and loved her Korean side of her practice, of her beauty, of her personality. She started arranging for this about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and it was just an honor to be there. There are a lot of German and European plastic surgeons and dermatologists, along with a decent amount from Korea as well. We had a wonderful exchange of ideas. We saw really cool technology, and I learned a lot from my German and Korean counterparts and colleagues. So I flew to Munich, and on Friday night, we had a welcome party. It was held at the Genesis showroom in Munich, and they had cool Korean food, and better yet, K-pop dancers. So it was a lot of fun. It was great to meet colleagues in an informal way, and the K-pop dancers were really awesome. Saturday is when the fun really began, where it was a full day of lectures and they had a great exhibit hall. I was honored to be one of the keynote speakers. I spoke about German, Korean, and American ideas of what's aesthetic, what's beautiful, along with non-surgical and surgical ways to achieve those goals. Essentially, Germany is a lot more into natural looks, subtle to moderate changes, more athletic build, and not really changing or tweaking a lot. This is something that I learned from my German colleagues. I talked about that, and they are much more into non-surgical or less surgical, less invasive techniques as opposed to actual surgery. Korea, of course, we all know about Korean skincare, but they are much more into bigger changes, especially in the central portion of the face, specifically in the eyes and the nose. They do other areas of the face and body as well, but that is what they typically focus on. In America, I discussed that honestly, even though we have this idea of a very fit and beautiful woman or male, a lot of our population has a hard time achieving that due to being overweight. So I talked about the increased use of Ozempic and other GLP-1 injectables. I talked about loose skin and how we deal with it, whether it's non-surgically or surgically. And even though America definitely has a holistic approach, we still like surgery as opposed to Germany, which loves a holistic approach, but they tend to not be as aggressive, not as many patients get surgery. I was also honored to give a talk about the latest updates in facelift and neck lift surgery. In terms of the non-surgical stuff, we do some very interesting things in the US which are not as popular in Germany. And in terms of facelift techniques and neck lift techniques, I don't think there's actually much of a difference between Korea, Germany, or America. There were over 60 speakers. I was able to listen to virtually all of them. The entire conference was in English, so it was a lot of fun. Now on Saturday night, there was a wonderful gala. It was a Bavarian gala. So in case you don't know, and I didn't know this because I've never been to Munich, Southern Germany is very different from Northern Germany. So Munich is where they always have Oktoberfest. It is maybe more country / rural / a celebration of the harvest. And even though the conference was held in February, the restaurant we went to, Restaurant Doniso, is over 600 years old. The entire organizing committee, along with Dr. Caroline Kim, really put on an amazing show. So we had Bavarian singers, Bavarian dancers, everybody at the restaurant were wearing dirndls or lederhosen, and we had just a tremendous amount of fun with the Bavarian culture coming through. Something that was very unique was the Bavarian whip dance. This is actually not really done in Oktoberfest anymore because the crowds are too big. They're worried about people getting injured. People in Bavaria during Oktoberfest would make the whip or clapping sound in percussion tune with the music. So that was a lot of fun. Of course, we need to give them a lot of room. I was honored, or sort of forced, to give the honorary tap of the first beer barrel. So apparently this is a big deal in Munich, especially in Oktoberfest. You don't want to be a clumsy person where it takes 320 taps to get the actual beer tap or faucet into the beer barrel. So they sort of hyped me up. And so with one blow, I was able to actually get the tap into the beer barrel, which made everybody happy. Now, I don't drink alcohol, but having said that, the beer seemed to be tasty. Everybody loved it. Very fresh. And they actually have non-alcoholic beer all over the place. This is apparently not that unusual of a request, even in Munich. It was a lot of fun. And the food, of course, was amazing. The next day, Sunday, I was able to look at more lectures. I gave another talk on how AI can be used in plastic surgery, and I was also able to see more of the exhibitors in the exhibitor hall. And I'll talk about the technology that I saw at the German-Korean meeting in just a moment. The conference ended Sunday evening. It was great to just hang out and to go to another awesome restaurant. Now, Monday was a lot of fun because a lot of people's flights leaving Munich were not really until Monday afternoon. So Monday morning, there was a group tour arranged thanks to Dr. Caroline Kim, and it was a lot of fun. We went to BMW headquarters where they have the biggest showroom of BMWs in the world. We then went to the Nymphenburg Castle, a beautiful castle. And finally, we had lunch at the Hofbrauhaus, another very traditional, very old Bavarian food and beer hall. And that was just amazing. Finally, I flew to Dallas to go to the Dallas Rhinoplasty Dallas Cosmetic meeting, and I'll talk about that in a separate video. So what did I learn in terms of new products coming out of Korea? By far, this is the most exciting time in terms of new technology that I had recently, because Korean technology is just getting out of control in a good way. I saw a lecture about needleless injection. So they have a device that uses sound waves to inject liquid, and you can put in any liquid you want. We'll talk about that in a moment. The sound actually drives the liquid into the skin, underneath the skin, and then the liquid sort of explodes like a little grenade just underneath the skin, just underneath the epidermis, into the dermis or epidermis layer, depending on how deep or what the settings are. So they got this idea from bunker busting missiles. So these are special missiles that can actually penetrate a concrete barrier, a concrete roof, if you will, that's very thick, go through the roof, and then explode. This is where the Koreans got this idea, and it works. What's interesting is that when you look at pictures of the skin, there are virtually no holes. There's not much bleeding, there's not much redness, and patients definitely notice that there's a little less pain compared to needle injection at the same depth and the same level. Also, since it's sort of like a gun, in other words, it's a grid pattern of needleless injection points, you can actually have a bigger surface area that's injected, and it takes a couple minutes to do the whole face and neck. Right now in the US, we do this manually. So that means that if I'm doing your whole face, I need to inject 100, 150 different times into your face. It takes me a lot longer, but also it's a little more painful. So I'm hoping that this device comes to US very, very soon. So why am I babbling so much about this device and in terms of liquid? Well, first off, we can inject different types of liquid, specifically skin booster. We have Skin V from Allergan. Of course, you probably heard of Regeron, which is a skin booster, technically not FDA approved or available yet in the US. But if we can inject skin booster directly underneath the surface skin of your skin, we can actually increase collagen growth. Your skin has a better glow. If we inject Botox or neurotoxin with a little HA filler, use that as the liquid and inject it sort of superficial, not that deep underneath the skin, we can actually give you a glass facial or a glass Botox facial, where your skin glows more naturally, it feels good, it's nice and shiny, it has much smaller pores, and you have overall better skin quality and skin structure. Both of those techniques, as you can sort of tell, we can do in America today, but we're doing it manually. It's a lot faster, less painful to do it with the needleless injection machine. A very interesting chemical that I saw at the exhibition hall was this needleless injection machine, but they inject a different chemical, PLLA, it's called Juvalook, for stretch marks and other issues. I have never seen a device that actually treats stretch marks very well. This device, when you inject the Juvalook, the PLLA, which is a similar chemical to Sculptra, the actual stretch marks look a lot better. Not a little better, a lot better. So I'm hopeful that this will be FDA approved and we can actually inject this for patients who have stretch marks. Another interesting device I saw was HIFU. HIFU, H-I-F-U, stands for High Intense Focus Ultrasound. We have such a device, it's called Alltherapy. It's been around in the US for over 10 years. What it does is it uses ultrasound to penetrate your skin, and it heats up the SMAS, which is a superficial musculoaponeurotic system. That's the fascial structure that I use during facelift and neck lift to sort of tighten the underlying structures of the face. So if you heat it up and it tightens the SMAS, we can actually give you a slight tightening effect to your face, especially the jowl area. I had this treatment done about a year ago. It does work. As a plastic surgeon, it's like, it works a little. Now, having said that, as a non-plastic surgeon, for a treatment that only takes about an hour to get or a little less, and is completely non-invasive, the results are very impressive. There's a Korean company that has invented a HIFU device that is able to deliver 3 lines. So right now, Alltherapy is actually only able to inject or give you 1 zap or 1 line at a time. Imagine the device that can do it 3 times faster. That's what this Korean HIFU device can do. Again, that's not FDA approved yet, but I'm hopeful that it will be soon. Finally, the last Korean product I saw was the Agnes Medical Plasma Magic. So this is 2 types of plasma, argon and helium. and it does skin resurfacing. So why is this so important? If you want to get a good blast and good skin resurfacing, the problem has always been that it hurts more because it's higher temperature. Because this company is able to deliver 2 different types of plasma, you can actually have the same high temperature briefly to create really great resurfacing, but the other type of plasma cools it down right after it's applied. So you as a patient don't really feel the heat. It doesn't hurt as much. It's much more comfortable. So this is a very interesting device because there's no other device I'm aware of in the world that can do what this device can do. They are FDA approved, and so they're not selling it in the US yet. I spoke to the CEO at the conference, but it will be shortly sold in the US. So there you have it. This is the very first conference of its kind, the German Korean Aesthetic Facial Conference. They will probably be holding it next year, but it's uncertain whether they're going to have it in Germany again or in Seoul, Korea. So I'll let you know. I'll keep you guys updated. If you guys have any questions about anything I spoke about, if you've ever been to Munich, please let me know. If you have any questions or comments, please fire below. And as always, thanks for watching.